A trolley is on course to hit 5 people. Would you pull the lever to save them, knowing it would divert the trolley onto a side track where one person is tied down? Who would be killed instead?
I would pull the lever. The outcome is tragic either way, but doing nothing still results in a choice. Allowing 5 people to die when one death could prevent it. Saving the greater number feels like the least harmful option. Still, the decision is morally uncomfortable because pulling the lever makes you actively involved in one person's death. I mean, that's the part that stays with you. The trolley problem shows that morality is not only about numbers, it is also about intention, responsibility, and whether causing harm feels different from allowing harm.
Yes, I would pull the lever. In this classic trolley dilemma, pulling it diverts the trolley from killing 5 people to killing one instead. The net result, 4 lives saved. All else being equal, minimizing total deaths is the better choice. This follows a utilitarian view. Outcomes matter, and 5 lives outweigh 1. The lever doesn't create new harm. It simply redirects an existing threat. Now, many people agree with this in the basic switch scenario. However, deontological ethics disagree. Actively causing the one death, even to save more, violates the rule against killing, and that makes you responsible. Real life is rarely this clean, but on the given facts, I would pull it. Because the numbers count when you're forced into a tragic trade-off.
Yes, I'd pull it. But I want to say why, and also what I think that answer costs. The reason isn't just 5 is more than 1, though that matters, it's that the person on the sidetrack isn't being used. Their death isn't the mechanism that saves anyone. If they slipped free of the ropes at the last second, the 5 would still live. The trolley doesn't need them. That's different from the footbridge version, where you shove someone into the trolley's path. There, the body is the brake. Remove the death, and you've lost the rescue. That distinction, between a death you cause as a side effect and a death you use as a tool, seems to me to be doing real moral work. And it's why I'd pull the lever, but wouldn't push the man. The other thing pushing me toward pulling, standing at the switch, doing nothing isn't neutral. You can't launder a choice into non-participation by keeping your hands in your pockets. Refusing to act is an act, and its foreseeable result is 5 deaths. But I don't want to pretend this settles cleanly. The person on the side track was safe. Nothing they did put them in the trolley's way. I'm the reason it's coming for them. They have a complaint against me that the 5 don't have against anyone. And the math worked out is a lousy thing to say to someone's family. I think the right description is that pulling is justified and still leaves a residue. Bernard Williams' point about moral remainder is the relevant one. An action can be correct and still leave you owing something. You know, if you'd pull the lever and feel nothing afterward, something has gone wrong, even if you did the right thing. And I hold the switch and footbridge asymmetry with some discomfort, because there's a serious argument that it's a bug in human psychology. That up-close violence trips an emotional alarm which distance doesn't, and the alarm isn't tracking anything moral. Joshua Green's work is essentially this case. I'm not fully persuaded. An intuition having an evolutionary origin doesn't make it false, since our horror at torturing children for fun has a causal history too. But I can't be confident that's not what's happening. And Judith Jarvis Thomson, who made the switch case famous, eventually decided you shouldn't pull. Roughly on the grounds that if you wouldn't jump in front of the trolley yourself, you lacked the standing to volunteer someone else.
This is the classic trolley problem, a thought experiment in ethics that forces us to weigh utilitarian reasoning against deontological principles. If you pull the lever, you save 5 lives but directly cause the death of 1. This aligns with utilitarianism, the greatest good for the greatest number. If you do nothing, 5 people die but you haven't actively intervened, which some argue makes you less morally responsible, even though the outcome is worse numerically. Philosophers debate this endlessly. Utilitarianism says, pull the lever because saving 5 outweighs 1. Deontology argues, don't pull the lever because intentionally killing someone is morally impermissible, even to save more lives. Virtue ethics focuses on the character of the decision-maker. What kind of person do you become by making either choice? What makes the trolley problem so enduring is that it strips away context and emotion, forcing us to confront the raw logic of moral decision-making. Yet in real life, context, relationships, and emotions always matter.
This is the classic trolley problem. My answer, yes. I would pull the lever. So here's why. Let's start with the consequentialist logic. The decision saves more lives, 5 instead of 1, with the same type of harm being struck by a trolley. All other factors being equal, choosing the option that minimizes total deaths is ethically justifiable. Then there's the question of action versus omission. While pulling the lever makes me an active participant, I am already a participant, simply by being the one standing at the switch. Inaction is still a choice, one that knowingly allows 5 deaths to occur when I could have prevented them. And there's no special relationship here. The single person is not someone I have a specific duty to protect above strangers, nor are the 5 people culpable for being on the track. It is a forced, tragic choice, and I choose the lesser total harm. That said, I don't take this lightly. I would pull the lever, and I would also accept the moral weight of that decision, because doing nothing would not leave my conscience clean either.
The decision: pull the lever. Yes, the lever must be pulled. When facing an unavoidable tragedy, the objective must be to evaluate the net outcomes and to choose the path that results in the least amount of aggregate harm and the greatest preservation of human life. So, to make the most responsible decision, we have to look directly at the math of the consequences. Consider inaction, doing nothing. The trolley continues on its path, 5 lives are lost, and the immediate and ripple effects of grief, loss, and societal damage are multiplied 5-fold. Now consider action, pulling the lever. The trolley is diverted, 1 life is lost. While tragic, 5 lives are saved, resulting in a net gain of 4 lives preserved. So why action over inaction? It is tempting to view inaction as morally neutral, to feel that by not touching the lever you bear no responsibility for what happens next. However, opting not to act is itself a choice. Allowing 5 preventable deaths, simply to keep one's own hands clean, prioritizes personal moral comfort over actual human well-being. Looking purely at the tangible reality of the outcome, 1 death is an absolute tragedy, but 5 deaths is 5 times the tragedy. Diverting the trolley minimizes total suffering and preserves the highest possible net amount of life.